This is a review of Survivor episode several, as they're saying. Episode several. As in episode 7 of Survivor. This is a full recap and review. I got Richie right here with me, as always. Richie,
As
welcome
always.
back. We are going to go
Thanks for
through
having me.
stock up, stock down. We're going to talk about who we think is going home next week, but some business to attend to first. Regarding that very segment at the end of the episode, we knew that there were going to be 2 tribal councils, and so you and I both picked 2 survivors to go home. And to be honest with you, I still had some good horses. I
For
they
sure.
they were both brought up. I had Venus, I
Yeah.
had Charlie. You can go back to the last episode. You can go
hmm
to that time code. We made a wager. I had Venus. I had Charlie. Charlie was the odd man out. Venus has been just a threat, this whole time we're hearing. But in the end, Tim and Soda go home, which were the 2 people you chose.
That was
Uh,
crazy, man.
and you texted me right after you watched, and you said, dude, let me know
I
when you
was
watch
so
this
shocked.
episode. And I went on vacation. My timing was horrible. Had to go to the airport on Wednesday night. Then I was on vacation all week. I didn't catch it till Sunday. That's why the episode's up at a later time. Um, but yeah, dude, it didn't click till halfway through the episode, and I was like, oh, that's why he texted me. And then I kind of was spoiled a little bit, but I was like, I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it. So our wager was 2 of these. And today we're going with little Malibu. Gosh.
Seems fitting. Island vibes.
So yeah, let's start to recap the episode. I'm gonna pour this up here.
I mean, just to go back kind of with this too, like because Tim went home first, I think, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got one of them right. And I mean, none of us have gotten one right yet, except for the bonded one, but that was obvious. And then it gets to the second tribal, and I'm like, oh no way. So yeah, this was a great episode. The way the teams were split up was, I mean, very lucky, you could say, for the Purple Tribe.
Oh, it's a Monday night.
All 3 of them, yeah, all 3 of them on one tribe was huge.
Oh,
The challenge was a good challenge. I like how they split it up. It was funny because I mean, at the beginning, they're all just kind of standing there talking, having a good time.
yeah,
I couldn't tell at first if it like bothered me that they were like trying to play games during the challenge or talking. But looking back, because I watched that scene a couple times because it's come up on like my Instagram explore page a couple times, so it did draw me when I watched it like once
yeah,
or twice more.
yeah. I think it added like a good. I feel like that's what would happen if I was doing that. And I think, dude,
Oh, for sure.
Christian famously from David versus Goliath, he beat a Goliath as a David doing an endurance challenge, but he talked for hours,
Yeah,
and it drove that one dude who
I
ended up
remember
on
that.
the White Lotus. He ended up going out. But like, yeah, dude, I imagine, and actually they talked about it on the podcast that this actually happens a lot. Is like that
Mm,
Survivor players will, riff or talk or whatever, but Jeff said it was like the most fun he had ever had during a challenge
that's
because
awesome.
like even the whole like what's up Jeff and like
That was so
uh
funny, bro.
and then like yeah, Q earlier talking about if he's out of the game he should shut up, and that line coming
hmm
back, them not figuring out how to play the game was hilarious. And then dude, and honestly a great move by Tim, just shout out the family. Because I mean, worst case, you tell your family, "Hey, guess what? I was doing this. I was shouting you out." Best case, he
hmm
got to shout out his family. Which I know we're a little all over the place with talking about it, but I will say too that I am always. They talk about a winner's edit. Do you believe in a winner's edit? Do you know what a winner's edit is?
No.
So a winner's edit is basically like you can watch Survivor, and based off of clues of how much time they spend on one person,
Mm,
who talks the most, like people
okay.
are running, like psychos on Reddit are running these numbers, and they believe that like you can tell. And apparently there are a few algorithms that are pretty accurate when it comes to. I know
Yeah.
last season, um, they like it wasn't D. Who was the girl at the very beginning who wasn't very well liked? She
Emily.
Emily, yes. And then
Yeah.
she did just get so much time, but she was projected to be the winner, and we all kind of did think she
Hmm.
was going to be the winner, like she was going to prevail. Um, of course, D ended up winning. But so they believe that there is a
I get
winners at
that.
it. That while you're watching, you can go because so what I look for, and this is what happened with Tim, and it kind of this affirms a theory I have, is that when I'm watching Survivor, if they let a survivor like have a real big moment, I kind of think
Hmm.
like, oh, this is their send off because you don't really get to say goodbye in Survivor.
That's fair. Yeah.
It's the tribe has spoken. So during the earlier parts of the episode, they might show like, when I was in high school, I had to overcome this, and like I
Hmm.
had a third arm and whatever, and like they came through it, and they're amazing, and they're on Survivor. Um, but that's every time I see a moment like that, I get a little nervous. Like, oh my gosh,
That's
this
true.
person might be going home.
Yeah.
So when Tim had this big shout out moment, kind of worked out for him
Mm.
because like what a great episode to go. Unfortunately, yeah, he doesn't make the jury, but I mean
That sucked
at
too.
least which I like the stakes by the way. I
Hmm.
think that's good. Also giving a crazy reward. So like if you lose, like you're at the lowest of lows, but if you win, you could be at the highest of highs.
Yeah.
Um you could be Kenzie with the immunity necklace, and she got to eat too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So unreal.
And she
Um,
barely won too. That was crazy.
yeah, was crazy.
I
And
don't even think I don't even think she realized that she had won until
yeah, dude, they
like,
kind of cut away from it quick, but it might have been a photo finish. It might have been
yeah, because I mean, I think Tiffany was even behind her, so like she was falling in and screaming. I don't think she was screaming because she knew she won. I think she was just like screaming because she fell.
dude, I've thought
But
of
that,
that. I've thought of that before of like I've wondered because like we watch so much sports, and a big part of professional sports are challenging plays or calls,
mhm.
and I've wondered if they've ever gone like, Jeff, we had way more knots than they did. Can we check this? Like, can we go back? Or like, dude, we were there first, or I don't know how,
Yeah,
because I mean, I usually they have things that are pretty separated, but yeah, I always wondered if they could challenge something if they didn't like how a certain thing played out. Um,
maybe.
okay, wait. To start the episode, Charlie admitted that he was the guy to vote Venus, and
Yeah,
he
I
took a
forgot
lot of
about
fire
that.
for that. What did you think of that? And honestly,
I mean,
that helped me. I bet live odds on Charlie went up there, and I was like, hey, I'm feeling
mhm.
good
Yeah, I thought that was a stupid move, but
to Charlie.
um, I do think it was a dumb move that he did that, especially when you have like people just talking and assuming that it was Venus who they threw under the bus. I think that they said did it,
Yeah,
but I don't know why you would go and tell her you did it. But I do think it was kind of stupid by Q as well to get as mad as he did,
yeah,
especially when you're not really in like an alliance with him.
yeah.
You've talked whatever about this like 6-person alliance, but he wasn't even in that.
No, he wasn't.
So I thought that was kind of weird for Q to get so mad at him, trying to act like he can control him when he doesn't really have a relationship with him in the first place.
Yeah.
So bad move, I thought, right there by Q as well.
Yeah, dude, I kind of don't know what game Q is playing. He's kind of all over the place.
Hmm.
He's really hard to read, and he's making like subtly big moves. Like I think he's making big impressions. Maybe they're not moves, but they're
Hmm.
impressions, and
Yeah,
they're palpable. And like you feel like he could be a challenge beast, but he's throwing a challenge. He kind of said that like I jumped off on purpose.
yeah.
Which if
Which I do kind of get a little bit for somebody like him. Like he used to play football. They all know that he's probably one of, other than Hunter, he's like probably the biggest guy left.
yeah, oh yeah, no, it's
So
yeah. So yeah, pretty wild. Um, we see a pretty interesting moment. They talked about it a lot on the podcast too. Is Ben having a panic attack in the middle of the night? Dude, I thought it
mhm.
was something. I mean, I thought he was like having chest problems. Like it was,
Yeah, that's what
which
I
it
thought at first
probably
too.
could have been another thing that happened as well as along with the panic attack.
Hmm.
But then it was Kenzie to the rescue, and then we kind of get an amazing Kenzie moment. Just her explain. I don't know, just like this kind of the kumbaya. This is the new era of Survivor that I think I get excited about and I get warm about. I don't get excited about both exits being tear fests. Like it should be when you get voted out, it should be cutthroat. You should be pissed off. But like
Yeah,
it's still like mushy gushy. But like this mushy gushy I thought was a pretty cool moment to see, and like the fact that like it worked out that that Kenzie was familiar with like how to handle this was
yeah,
kind
that
of
was crazy.
a cool human moment. Um
Hmm.
that we see. And I actually think that affected the vote later on. I think Ben did have that connection with Kenzie
Mm.
that made him harder to vote off. Um,
Yeah,
because I think it was a good case to make for Ben. Ben's pretty dang likable.
yeah, they're going back and forth between Ben and Tim.
Yeah.
And then again, we get Q trying to run the show, and he's telling Tiffany and Kenzie do this and then switch it and do that.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was I mean, I think it worked out better for Kenzie that Tiffany's kind of losing a little bit of trust in Q. So I think she's going to be more of Tiffany's right hand person now rather than Q.
So another interesting moment I want to point out is at the very end of Tribal, when Soda was sent home, when she
Hmm.
was blindsided, there was a moment there because Soda is now the first member of the jury. And so
Yeah.
something very interesting that Venus whispers to Soda is that was me. That was my plan.
Hmm.
And she actually might think that. And I think she was a person who did think that. But really Tevin was the one that was pulling the strings, getting the other people to bend, I feel. And then you hear like Tevin kind of not like that. Did you see that moment, how that came out?
See, I didn't think that really Tevin had more to do with it.
But I just don't think Venus is the one that convinced people.
But Tevin didn't even vote for Soda.
I thought Tevin did vote for Soda. I thought it was Ford
No,
too.
he voted for Venus. Him and Liz both voted for Venus.
Wait, but
Or
that
him and Soda voted for Venus.
oh, maybe I didn't see that then.
Yeah.
Huh. Because yeah, he seemed to be the one to take. He was
Because
like
I
mad that
saw
he
that
didn't
where
take
he
credit
said
for
that
it.
like no. And then I watched I wanted to make sure and watch to see who voted for who, and he voted for
Oh
Venus.
wow, interesting then. Because
Yeah.
but it does seem like he's the one that convinced everyone else to do it, and maybe he did that because they were worried about shot in the dark. I don't know, or an
Yeah.
idle play. Yeah. But they also knew that Soda was going for Venus. Soda was the one that was like the
Hmm.
most surefire, and I feel like they didn't show that
Yeah.
enough. But that was her to her demise. And first member of the jury, I feel like, yeah, now we're getting in it. Final 10.
Yeah.
Final 10. It'll be good. Anything else in the episode? Anything we miss?
No, I think that was it.
Okay, so stock up, stock down. I will begin because I think the stock up in this episode. I think it's Kenzie. I think it's Kenzie.
Hmm.
Like I said, highlighting that moment. But also, dude, she freaking won immunity. I think her
Yeah.
resume is up, but like I don't think people are going to jump quickly to say Kenzie's a threat. She is absolutely a threat, but I think she's the best kind of threat. The threat that you don't
Hmm.
see, which of course would be the biggest threat. I think it's her. I think she's safe. Um, I think she's built. I think Ben now is like I'm indebted to you, and she still has her core alliance. I
Yeah.
think. I think Kenzie and Tiffany it seems like they're gonna turn their back on Q eventually. Q is going
Yeah.
of the three of them. Q will be blindsided. That would be a prediction I could make. I like Kenzie. I thought stocks up on her.
I agree. She probably would have been mine. I'm gonna pick somebody else too, though. I kind of honestly think Venus's stock is going up a little bit,
Yeah.
at least from a gameplay perspective. I think she made a big move this last episode. Whether she rallied the Maria and Charlie to get on her side or not, she was on the right side of the vote. I think she's going to be kept around for a little bit because she is kind of like that villain kind of person that people think they can maybe beat at the end because people don't like her. So I think they might keep her around a little bit more. So I think that gets her stock up just a little bit. I still think Kenzie probably won the episode,
Right.
but I would give Venus a little bit of stock up for sure.
Yeah, and like like Venus too is another interesting one where like she seems threatening, but she's not.
Hmm.
She's almost like the reverse Kenzie where like they keep saying let's vote out
Hmm.
Venus, but there's kind of no reason to. Like you should
Yeah.
vote out the people who are scared. You said it and that's why your prediction was correct, but Soda was a huge threat to that group. I
Hmm.
mean, we know that like Tevin and Hunter and like Q are maybe some of the most, probably Tiffany are some of the strongest players out there.
Yeah,
That's like you got to keep your eye on them, and people have been picking off some. Like I think Tim was a smart player. I think that was
for
probably
sure.
a pretty good pick to take out. Um, but like Venus is one where it's like, is she a threat? Like no one's worried about her in challenges. No one's
Hmm.
yeah, no one's worried about her swaying anyone just yet. Um, but that core six alliance is fractured. They still have five.
Yeah,
It's 5-5.
they got five,
They got
kind
five
of.
five. All right, who's your stock down?
I think my stock down is going to be Charlie.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I think just because I mean they lost him, he was a number for them. I think the Yellow Tribe kind of doesn't want to lose another member now that
Yeah,
they kind of have maybe their little group. So I think he's going to be like the next big threat from Green to go.
dang. Yeah, I think if you go Charlie or you go Ben, but I think Ben, I think he has that relationship in Kenzie that
Hmm.
he might be able to use in his advantage. Um,
Yeah.
so it'd be hard to say Ben.
Hmm.
But I kind of want to go Q. I'm kind of getting
Yeah.
nervous about. I'm getting nervous about Q. That's kind of my only feeling.
He's all over the place.
He's all over the place, dude. If you are this challenge threat, I get it. You maybe don't want to pile it on, but I feel like a challenge like this where you could win it for your
Hmm.
tribe, that could be something that's valuable. Um, but yeah, ultimately diving off there and then yeah, just being like flipping his vote a bunch and like even his own tribe mates are nervous about him. Like I think
Hmm.
that's significant. But yeah, I would say Q's stock is down because he's just making me nervous.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know that he's going home next week, but he's going to make people nervous, and people are going to notice his actions.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Something's there. All right. Questions for Jeff. What do you got? I got one that's a
Ooh.
little off the beaten path. I don't know if you
Run yours first.
Dude, what I want to know is, and I actually think he described it, but I binged the Survivor podcast, so a lot of went
Hmm.
in one ear and out the other. But so I work with a pretty high functioning TV host who wakes up and literally like I know you're a guy who wakes up very very early, but he wakes up at like 2:30 a.m. and
Jeez.
he goes to bed like 8 7 like early.
Hmm.
And he works out so hard and then puts in a 10-hour day, packed, maybe 12-hour day, whatever. But I would be curious what Jeff Probst workout routine is when he's on Survivor,
Ooh.
because those days are so packed because they have to get every detail right.
Yeah.
But like he looks amazing for his age, of course. He's
Hmm.
just like, and he seems to be in great shape. I guess we have no real evidence of that, but I mean, what's his routine? He's got to have some sort of
Hmm.
psychotic routine, and
Yeah.
I'd love to know what that is. Because yeah, at his age, how do you look that good, man?
I
Come on,
like that.
that's all I want to know.
I think my question would be how much is he watching kind of behind the scenes from each tribe? I guess in this situation, so he knows kind of what questions to ask in tribal council.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Because he asks, I mean, he asks questions that like he definitely like he's watching something that they're doing at
Yeah,
back at on the beach. So
yeah,
I think that'd be kind of cool to see how much he's like watching from each tribe.
right. Is someone handing him notes or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah, no, he actually talked about that in the podcast a little bit because they asked if he knew what had gone down with Ben and Kenzie, and he
Mhm.
totally had.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
something that he was aware of, that because that was a nighttime thing. I've heard them talk about like that the nighttime producer is the starter producer. If you're getting started on the show, they put you on at night
Mm.
because not a lot happens at night. But
Yeah.
something like this was a very huge moment. And there have been like a lot of very clutch nighttime scenes. I mean, we saw an idol
Hmm.
get grabbed or a clue get dug up
Yeah.
at nighttime. And so that stuff does go down. I doubt Jeff is awake live for that, but he probably watched it on playback in the morning or something,
Yeah.
which I bet they must have a crazy, crazy system in play.
Oh, that's gotta be
Um,
wild.
yeah. All right. So, gosh, do we double down on this bet?
We can.
All right, let's do it. For Survivor, who is going home next week?
Who do you got?
Shot of the week was Malibu Caribbean rum. And so with that, I will say that Maria has an idol. Is that right?
Yeah.
Maria has an idol. Tiffany has an idol. Hunter has an idol. Jeez.
Hmm.
Charlie feels like the right
No,
answer.
Maria doesn't. I don't think Maria has one.
No, oh, Maria has an extra vote. Oh, she wasted her extra vote already.
Yeah, because
All right,
Jem had the idol.
I'll go Maria.
Okay.
Maria next week. Oh yeah, I'll go Maria because I just think another green will go. Maybe I like Charlie feels like the obvious answer, but I think the ball bounces a certain
Yeah.
way and it lands on Maria. Who you
I
got?
think I'm gonna say. I think I'm gonna say Tevin.
Ooh, Ooh,
I think
Tevin has an
some.
idol. Tevin has an idol. No.
Oh no, Hunter has the yellow idol.
Yeah. But did Tevin get one on a journey? Why do I feel like Tevin has an advantage?
I don't think he
Maybe
does.
just Tevin just such a good player that I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
Tevin's got an advantage.
I think
Um,
I'm.
going Tevin.
I think something's gonna go down with like between him and Venus, obviously, and then I think Venus might get the green to kind of rally with her, and I think they'll
Yeah.
go after Tevin.
Yeah, because
Kind of out there, but
we're gonna open on this beach, which I also thought, are they going back to the same beach or will they go back to their separate
I think
ones?
they'll go back to the same ones.
Oh, okay. Like the one where the merged beach or the
Yeah,
ones where they're
I think
separate.
they'll go to the merged beach.
Yeah, because Venus is gonna come back and say who voted for me again, and
Yeah,
someone's gonna have to fess up, and yeah, we're gonna have to find out. I
yeah,
don't know. All right, I'll go Maria. You'll go Tevin. We will find out, but that's all. We got a good shout
2
out
days.
um from that Survivor channel. They said that they
Yeah,
subscribed, so we appreciate them for subscribing. We appreciate you for subscribing as well. I'm gonna read a comment that actually came from the Don't Break Network TikTok. Also, shout out to D for watching the TikTok. You know what I mean? Like,
that was crazy.
we're already. I mean, it's Tyson's gonna be on here in no time. We know that. Like, we might even get him in person. Who knows? But to have D be a supporter of the show, I mean, I can't. But so I got a comment from Olivia Ricks is the name.
Ooh,
It says, I feel the same with the alcohol too. Like beer on an empty stomach would kill me. This is in reference to the D story where she said she threw up. Because yeah, alcohol, would that be the worst part, you think? Or would you think it'd be like, what would our body be most? It probably
I
would.
think the alcohol for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. What am I
That
thinking
or like
about?
really greasy food, I guess
What am I
too.
talking about, dude? I should know. I should know. I should know. Yeah, great comment. Leave a comment, leave a like. Thank you for subscribing. Richie, any last words?
I think that's all we got. Leave a comment. Give us a question to answer on the next episode.
Yeah, give it to us.